In this video, we're going to share with you how local business owners just like you are absolutely crushing it online, utilizing internet marketing and social media to find new prospects, stay in touch with their existing customers, and build deeper relationships along the way. How are they doing that? Well, they're utilizing a thing we call Web 2.0. But before we talk about Web 2.0, let's talk about what Web 1.0 is. You see, back in the day, Web 1.0 is where you went to the computer to get information out of it. It was like a one-way street. There was no way to put anything in. Then along came Web 2.0, and with that, it actually allows people to put information into the computer, making it a two-way street or a back and forth dialogue. This is a great thing. With that, people can now leave their opinion on things. The truth is, marketing has shifted away from a one-way broadcast to a multi-point conversation. Have you ever gone on Amazon and before you bought something, you looked at the user ratings to say what people were saying about it? If the majority of reviews rank the product 1 out of 5 stars, would you be more or less likely to purchase it? You may actually want to look at what other people are saying about it and what are the most helpful reviews. With people able to put information online, it can increase your value, it can increase your positioning, and it will make it so that when people do find your company online, they feel like they already know, like, and trust you. But you have to put some things in place in order to make that happen. You see, with Google, there are over 3.5 billion searches every day. This means that there are people in your area looking for information about your business. With that, there are over 3 billion monthly local searches. That means 20% of all searches contain local terms. Let's face it, if you're looking for a pizza place, you're not looking, if you live in Atlanta, you're not looking for a pizza shop in Seattle. You're going to be putting in Atlanta pizza in order to find that. And that's what local search is all about. But with all of those people searching, why are local businesses still struggling? There's a reason for that. Local businesses are seeing more competition for customers, clients, and patients than ever before. A recent Small Business Administration study reports that local businesses are seeing the largest increase in competition in years. Since 1990, large corporations have eliminated 4 million jobs and local businesses have added 8 million new jobs. So the number of local businesses has increased by 49% during that time frame. That's nearly 12 million new businesses that are all competing for the same customers. But it gets worse. Recent statistics show that even after coming out of hard economic times over the past several years, many local businesses are struggling to survive and many will go out of business in the next 3 to 5 years. To make matters worse, recent statistics show that most local businesses are relying on traditional methods of getting clients. And those traditional methods have stopped working. Think about it, only 18% of traditional TV campaigns generate a positive return on investment. Why is that? That's because 90% of people that can skip ads do skip ads. Then we have the newspaper. Let me ask you a question. If you're advertising in the newspaper, do you even get the newspaper yourself? Chances are you don't. That's because 24 of the 25 largest newspapers have experienced record declines in circulation in the past year. And if you are advertising in the newspaper, let me ask you this, where would I go to look if I needed your product or service? Chances are you can't tell me because ads go wherever there's space left over after the news crew puts in the news. Then the ads fill in the blanks around it. So there's no guarantee exactly where your ad's going to show up. So the consumer doesn't know where to go and look on a consistent basis. How about the yellow pages? You know that big thick yellow book? Do you know where that is right now? Do you even have one in your home or your office? Well, I would say that you probably don't unless it may be propping a door open or something. And it used to be used to boost kids up to the table, but these days it's an ever shrinking book. And there's a good reason for that. You know why yellow pages are like nursing homes? Well, it's because that usually it's only people over the age of 75 that use them, and they're very expensive. So let me ask this, is your target market over the age of 75? Well, if they're not, there may be a better way of you spending your marketing dollars than advertising in the yellow pages. So each one of these items, I call them an attempt at advertising. Whether it's yellow pages, whether it's the newspaper, or whether it's TV advertising, these are all attempts. And there's other attempted advertising as well that are older methods that local businesses are still trying to use. If you look at it, if you're using Valpak or park benches, billboards, or even advertising on the side of a bus, all of these things are called attempts at advertising. And the reason we call them that is it's because you are putting your marketing message where you hope people will see it at the exact time that they need your product or service and either remember it write it down, or save it for the exact time when they do need your service. So the chances of this being very effective are greatly reduced, and that's why local businesses are struggling today, because there's other options that we have available as consumers to find the information about the products and services and businesses that we need the services from. And some people have even gone to an extreme of trying to put their marketing message where they think they will get people's undivided attention. I don't know about you, but the last time I was in the bathroom, I didn't have a pen and paper with me to take down any information. What can you as a local business owner do to not only get ahead of the competition, but absolutely dominate it? That's what we're going to spend the rest of our time talking about. As we said, local search, there's over 3 billion local monthly searches, and 20% of all searches contain local terms. Now, how do you get your information in front of those people that are searching for it? First of all, you have to look at your website and making sure that it has the right information and has the right calls to action, so that if people do find your website on the first page of the search engines, that you have the right action for them to take. But your website is just a small part of the equation. See, most people think, oh, I've got a website, people can find me. Well, the chances are they can't find you because there's competition for getting your information in front of those people who are actively searching for it. Let's talk about some other ways that may be even more effective than worrying about your website. And the first one of those is looking at local and mobile searches. Most local and mobile searches are done utilizing smartphones and navigation systems. 82% of local searches are followed by an action. That's a store visit, a call, an email, or a purchase. So it's very important to have your information in a way that people can consume it the way that they're going to be looking for it. See, mobile is the gateway for you to develop the most intimate relationship with your customer by adding value to your customer at the right place, at the right time, and in just the right way. So how is that? Well, local mobile discovery, there's two ways of looking at it. One is browser-based local search. And that is, if you're using an iPhone, you're using Safari. If you have an Android device, you'd be using Google Chrome. And in 2012, Google says 50% of mobile search is local. That means over 30 billion mobile local searches in 2014. So how do you get your information to make sure that it gets found? Well, the first thing is you need to have a mobile website. And there's some things to look at from doing this. And most people think, oh, well, if I search on my mobile device, my website pops up. And that's good enough so people can find it. Well, if you look at the website on the left, you can't even see the phone number. You don't know how to get a hold of them. You would have to pinch and zoom in order to be able to find your way around. This same company, having a mobile website, which is represented on the right, has the very most important information that people would be looking for if they're on their mobile device, and is done in such a way that it's easy for them to navigate. Because if you're looking for a vein center, you're really only looking for certain information if you're searching on your smartphone, and that is the phone number, the directions, their business hours. And having it so that it's very easy to find is important. How do I know this? Well, that's because there's some interesting statistic whenever it comes to looking at mobile websites. First of all, 3 out of 5 consumers search for local businesses on their phone. And of those that are searching, the majority of customers will abandon a mobile site if it takes more than 3 seconds to load, yet 86% of responsive mobile sites weigh as much as their desktop versions. And what that means is it takes them a long time to open, and even when they do open, navigation is clunky and slow. So if this is you, chances are you're losing business every day simply for that one reason. And Google reports that 40% of mobile consumers turned to a competitor's website after a bad mobile web experience. So don't put yourself in a position to lose customers to competition. Put yourself in a position to dominate the competition by being ahead of the curve with a mobile optimized website. But wait, there's more. So when it comes to local mobile search, the next step is looking at app-based local search. And this isn't necessarily a mobile app specifically for your business. Mobile consumers spend roughly 80% of their time searching in apps for local businesses, according to Nielsen. So what do you use to search for local businesses? A browser or an app? If you're using anything other than Safari or Chrome, chances are you're using an app to search for those businesses. You see, 50% of smartphone owners use apps for local search according to ComScore. Apps like Google Maps, Yahoo, MapQuest, Yellowbook, Yelp, Superpages, City Search, Urban Spoon, and others. Your local business must be listed in these apps for you to have any chance for people to find you when they're looking here. Today, it's like people have a number of directories walking around with them in their pocket. So if you had the ability to look instead of just at one directory, you had 10 or 15 directories that you could search in, which one would it be most important to be listed in? Well, the fact is, it would be important to be listed in all of them. That's what these directories are exactly like. And it's not just good enough to be listed in them, you have to be listed in just the right way. And you have to make sure there's certain specific information that's listed in every one of them consistently, or you might as well not have any listings at all, because you're going to be at the bottom of the pile and your competition is going to be standing on top of you, getting their information seen. So it's a very systematic way to not only claim each of these directories, but you also need to continually update them and have your customers giving you positive reviews on these sites in order to optimize and elevate your listing in the directories. So if you're not claiming these directories and you're not managing what people are saying about you online, who is? Mobile local search equals sales, because 79% of local searches convert to a sale the very same day. And with restaurants, it actually converts to sales within the hour. One of the best ways to make sure people find you locally is with Google+. If you've gone on Google lately and searched for a type of business in a certain city, a map pops up with pinpointed business locations on it. Google is literally putting businesses on the map. What you need to do, whether you're a pizza parlor, a hair care professional, a dentist, a chiropractor, whatever type of business you are, you need to make sure your information can be found on Google+, so that when people do search for information in your city, your business shows up. This is an example of what a Google results page looks like. When you search for a business in a city, the map comes up showing the pinpointed businesses closest to your location. Then there's what's called a 7 box with a list of the top 7 Google Plus results. If you're number 8 or 9, guess what? You don't show up on the page. That's why it's so important for your information to be as complete as possible, so you have a better chance of showing up on the first page. How do you do that? Glad you asked. On your Google Plus listing, you need to be sure to include even your most basic information, your business address, your phone number, and website. Next, make sure and have your clients and business partners leave reviews and comments. If you're doing a great job, your customers will want to put good reviews about you and the great job you're doing. Finally, you want to make sure to have photos and videos uploaded as well, so that gives more power to your Google Plus ranking. These are some of the things you need to do to make sure Google can find you. The other aspect of looking at this is the reviews. If you'll notice on this page, there are people that have star reviews and some that don't. There's a certain number of reviews that you must get in order for your star rating to show up. If you're looking at this group, which ones are going to get your attention? Probably the ones that have the star ratings, not the ones that don't have a star rating. And whenever people hover over the 7 box, it actually gives them a tab so that they can hover over that, and it expands the Google Plus page on their screen so they can get the information, like the directions, the phone number, the address, your hours, and it updates every day. When you put the information in about your daily operating hours, it shows them the hours of the day that they're looking, not just an overall menu. It shows them the reviews, and it also shows the other things people have searched for. So it's critical that you not only get reviews, but you also have all of this information complete so that it gives you the best chance of standing out. So that's one way to get your business to show up on the first page of the search engine. Another way is called pay-per-click. And this is using Google AdWords so that you can have your ad show up on the first page, and you will pay a fee every time someone clicks on the ad. The way this looks, if you go back to the search that we just did, if you look at the top 3 results are paid search. It used to not show this, but now people know this is an ad because Google even puts the yellow square box next to it to tell you that it's an ad. Over on the right-hand side, there's other paid advertisements that typically don't get as much attention as the ones at the top of the page. But nevertheless, it's a way to ensure that your information is going to show up on the first page of the search engines when someone's searching for your profession in your city. The next, if you look at the lower right-hand corner with Upstate Smiles, if we blow that up, there's something very different about it than the others, and that is the star rating actually shows up in their pay-per-click ad. How did that happen? Well, it's because they have a good rating and they have a number of reviews that Google actually goes and pulls their ranking in from their Google Plus local page and puts it into their ad. It's like getting extra real estate without having to pay for it. It shows the address and it shows the star review in the ad. The others don't have it, only Upstate Smiles does. So pay-per-click advertising gives you the ability to shortcut the system to get your information on the front of the search engines, but you have to pay every time someone clicks on your ad. See, we've all heard of social media. There's tons and tons of places out there. So what should you do about it? How do you use social media, and what difference does it make? One of the things we hear from a lot of business owners is, who cares? Well, there are over 2 billion people online, and 93% of customers expect the companies they buy from to have a presence on social media. And 85% expect the companies to interact with them on social media. So it's more important than ever that you take advantage of these resources that are available to you. See, most of the time, whenever people think of social media, they think of Facebook and Twitter. And the reason is because all of the other places just seem so completely overwhelming. We're going to walk through exactly how to get the best use out of the two big boys on the block and how the other ones factor into the equation. It's all interconnectivity between all of these sources and all of these sites and everything you do online that creates an overwhelming presence. What do Ashton Kutcher and Ellen DeGeneres have in common? They have more Twitter followers than the population of Ireland, Norway, and Panama. They could probably tell everyone to jump up and stomp to the left, and we could actually feel the earth move a little bit. Well, that's an exaggeration, but you get the point. We've all heard the old saying, what happens in Vegas stays on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So what if we could identify hundreds of people in your area actively looking for information about your product or service? And what if we could position you as the expert? How would you go about doing that? Well, let's look at this. If you needed to buy a drill, what is it that you really want? Do you want torque? Do you want variable speed? Or do you want durability? Or do you want a combination of all of them? Well, actually, what we've found is most people that are buying a drill don't want any of those things. What do they really want? They want a hole. And so if you want to position yourself as an expert in this area, what would you do? Well, the simple thing is you would teach people how to make a hole. And as by teaching them how to make a hole, if you happen to sell drills, it would lead them to you to buy the drill. Now, this is an oversimplistic approach, but it's exactly what you need to do whenever it comes to your marketing messages, whenever you're dealing with people online. The more you can share with them, the more that you can help them understand not only your product and service, but exactly how working with you will help them achieve exceptional results, the more business you'll be getting. And see, this all happens with a 4-step process. The first step is connection. They have to find you online to be able to connect with you. The second is you have to provide them content, whether that's on your website, whether it's on a social media platform, no matter where it is, they have to receive content from you in order to make a decision whether or not you're the person, you're the business that they want to work with to purchase your product or service. After that, you have to capture their information, because without that, there's not really any way for you to continue the conversation. And once you've done these 3 things and you've built that know, like, and trust you factor, then and only then will you be able to collect money from them. When we talked about social media, the biggest player on the block is Facebook. And why is that? Well, because there's over 1 billion people who use it. So since everyone's there, it's also where you need to be. You can create a fan page for your business on Facebook just like you have a personal page. And some people get all concerned about this. Well, I don't want to put my personal information online. But the fact is, you don't have to. As a matter of fact, if you look at the Coca-Cola fan page, it's not even owned by Coca-Cola. This fan page was created by a couple of guys who absolutely love Coca-Cola, and they created the fan page. Well, to begin with, Coke was very upset about it and was actually trying to sue them to have them remove it. But after they got to looking at it and saw how positive it was, they actually left it alone because it was doing their job of advertising for them. And if you look at it, there's over 90 million people who like the Coca-Cola fan page. So it's a good thing for them. What does it do for you? How can you do this as a business owner? Well, if you look, this is a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. And there's some things you can see here. One of the things is he's not continuing to push and advertise all about his business. You can do that a little bit, but you want to make sure that you're sharing 80% of the information is content that people can utilize, whether they choose to do business with you or not. And there's some other things you want to do in order to make it so that you're promoting the solution rather than promoting yourself. One of the ways that Dr. John Perlman does that here, if you look at the banner across the top and his icon, it's showing the results that people are looking for. It's showing the smooth skin. It's showing the young girl instead of showing the doctor. That's utilized every time it's posted. That image shows up, and it's the image of beauty that shows up again and again, which is why most people are looking for a plastic surgeon. The other thing is, in the About Us section, Dr. Perlman doesn't just leave it to where it's just words on the page. He actually has a video there that welcomes people to the page and shares with them exactly what they're going to be receiving. And as I mentioned, the information that he shares is not just about plastic surgery procedures, it's about other things that people can do for general health. In this case, it's, are you using almond milk? It's the best milk for weight loss. Don't be in a position of just saying, buy my stuff, buy my services, come to my store, buy my stuff. You have to share information that people find useful, whether they choose to do business with you or not. And in this case, over 109,000 people actually like Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery. Another thing you can do now with Facebook, which is relatively new, is you can actually have a Facebook store. And that is having it so that people, when they come to your page, can not only interact with your page, but they also can click an icon and go and buy things from you straight off of Facebook. So if you're in a business where you sell actual physical items, this could be a great way to have people buy from you without them even having to come to your store. You can also advertise on Facebook with Facebook ads. The difference is with pay-per-click advertising, you're putting your information in front of people based on what they're looking for. With Facebook advertising, you're putting your information in front of the demographic of your best prospect. What if a wedding photographer could put their ad in front of a bunch of people who are walking around with a big sign around their neck that said, "I'm engaged"? That would be a pretty good prospect audience to get your ad in front of. Well, that's exactly what you can do with Facebook because people tell you everything about themselves. So they would first pick women and pick women that are engaged, and then pick women between the age of 24 and 30 that were engaged. It gives them a very effective strategy and a very cost-effective way of getting people to see their message. The way these ads show up, as you see over on the right-hand side, is similar to the pay-per-click advertising on Google. However, in this case, you actually are able to put an image, which everything on Facebook is all about pictures. You're able to put the image there along with the description of your ad that would then allow them to click it and go there. It also shows if you have friends that also like the business that's being advertised. The green box in the middle is what is referred to as a newsfeed ad, and that is having your ad show up in the middle of the newsfeed of the person who's on Facebook. And the one that shows up in the middle of the page allows people to like it, allows people to comment on it, and also allows people to share it. And the more that it's commented on and shared, the more people that will see the ad. Just like on Google, when someone clicks on your ad, you're going to be charged a fee for every time they click. So you want to make sure that wherever you're sending the person to when they click on the ad, that it's got a strong call to action so that you can share good information with them, capture their information so that you can continue the relationship with them. And you're able to set the parameters of what you're willing to pay each time someone clicks on the ad. And with Facebook ads, like I said, it's not targeted about what they're searching for, it's put in front of them based on who they are. Here's how precise you can get with the targeting. Let's go back to the example of the plastic surgeon. And let's say that he was looking to put an ad out. He could set the geography to stay within a 30-mile radius of his office. He could select the age range between 35 and 60. He could select women. He could select women who are married. He could select women who have been to college, women with the interest of fitness and wellness and shopping and fashion. Their behaviors would include health and beauty, cosmetics, vitamins, and spa treatments, and they would have an income level over $75,000 a year and a homeowner. This type of exact demographic gives a plastic surgeon the best chance for making sure that his ads are showing up in front of people who are going to be most likely to be interested in his services. Not only that, but after they click on the ad and see his information, you can drop a pixel, which is a tiny little tag on their computer, which then allows your ads to follow them. Have you ever noticed if you go to a website and then go back on Facebook, sometimes the exact information that you had been searching for is now showing up in the ad feed on Facebook? So what happens whenever they click on the ad, it drops a little pixel on their computer so that the next time they go back to Facebook, your ad gets priority and gets put in front of them. It's called retargeting. It retargets them and shows up with your ad over and over again. Why? Because the more they see your ad, the more chances of them coming back to your site and taking an action. The other big boy on the block is Twitter. And some people think Twitter is a big fat waste of time. But don't tell that to Curtis Kimball. I think he'll argue with you. And he's the owner of the Creme Brulee Cart in San Francisco. He started the Creme Brulee Cart and joined Twitter in 2009. See, Curtis knows this, that 53% of people on Twitter recommend companies and or products in their tweets. What difference has this made for Curtis? Well, he started off with one little Creme Brulee Cart that he would set up at different places on different days in the city of San Francisco, and he would tweet out his location. That's how people had to find where he was going to be so they could go enjoy this tasty dessert. And now, since then, what's happened? Well, if you look at his Twitter page now, he has over 23,000 followers, and he's grown from one little cart to 3 full-blown food trucks that are stationed at different places at different times around the city of San Francisco. And he still uses the same exact strategy that he used to start it in order to continue to grow his business. So it does make sense for businesses. And as a business owner, you can customize your Twitter account and you can share information with people just like you do on Facebook. So Twitter is another area to have your information. Why do this? Because the more places your information shows up, the more powerful it makes your overall online presence and the more it elevates you in the eyes of the search engines. So what are the other things you can do to position yourself as an expert? Well, one of them is you have to look at things from your customer's point of view, not just your point of view. And that's because people are going online to get answers to questions. So how can you answer the questions? Well, there's a number of ways. One way is you can create videos that answer questions that people are looking for. Like in this example, there's a chiropractor answering the question, what is that popping sound when I crack my neck or back? This video has over 100,000 views, and he was actually contacted by the Dr. Oz Show to talk about the use of social media in growing a practice. When people go online, that less than 15% of people believe online advertising, but over 90% of people believe peer reviews. The fact is, if it's online, then what do we say? It must be true. So how do you attract them to your business? Well, as I said, one of the ways you can do that is by giving them content on YouTube. YouTube is now the second largest search engine there is. It falls well behind Yahoo and Bing. So what do you make your videos about? Well, you help people find answers. You help them find answers to frequently asked questions. If you're a business owner, you know the questions that people frequently ask. The other thing that you know is you know the questions that people should be asking in order to make the proper decision about who they should work with and what product or service they should buy. Whenever you create your video, there's certain things that you need to do in order to give it the best chance of being found. And one of the ways is with video optimization. And that is making sure that you put your website in the description of your videos so that people don't have to hunt and peck and search for it. They're able to click immediately and go straight to your website once they've watched your video. If you look at this example, this is the first page search result for pre-owned sports car, and you can see the video shows up in the first page of the search engines. If you look at this, where do your eyes get drawn to? Well, one's over to the top for the Shelter Logic enclosure kit, but the other is straight down to the video buying a pre-owned sports car critical tip. And when you go to look at it, what's there? It's the car dealer telling the most important thing to do when buying a car. And if you're looking at buying a pre-owned exotic car, what do you want to know is what are the things that you need to look for to make sure you get the best deal. Now, once you have the video done and put on YouTube, it doesn't stop there. Remember, the more places we put information, the better chance it has of people finding it. So then we look at what we call systematic distribution. You can take your video and you can put it on video sites, but you can also put it on social bookmarking sites. You can put it on social networks like Facebook. You can put it on blogs. You can make a podcast out of it. You can put it on podcast directories, and they can all tie together and intermingle so that it gives you this overwhelming presence with every video, with every blog post, with everything you post online. So I think you can see from what we talked about, the more you have out there, the better the chances. So imagine this. Right now, if you're not showing up online, people can't find you. But what if your information was to show up in front of 200 to 300 people every month that are currently searching for you that can't find you? What would happen? Do you think there's any chance that any of them would choose you over your competition? And if they did, are you in a position to where your information is set up so that if they did find you, that they would be able to know what call to action you wanted them to take? Would they be in a position to actually be able to contact you to do business with you? Or is your information not going to give them what they need so that they go to your competition? All of these steps, all of them combined, become very powerful for you as a local business. Now just imagine having all of these things put in place. What would it do for you? What would it look like? Well, to begin with, here's the advantage of online marketing for local business. It makes you credible. It increases referrals. You're able to build new relationships. You can demand higher prices. It gives you outstanding visibility. It builds familiarity. It allows you to create trust. You can offer your products and services, and you're perceived as the expert. So what have all of these combined to do? Well, it keeps you top of mind with every person who sees your information. And that's the best chance of success that you can have, is being the first person they think of when they think of your product or service. So what do you need to do now? Well, the next step is you need to integrate all of the elements so they amplify each other. You get search engines, videos, social media, mobile marketing, all of it. That can be a little bit overwhelming. But there's some good news, and that is we want to show you how you can do it with zero extra work on your part. Step 1 is your blueprint. You need to have a blueprint for exactly what's going to happen and how these things will be implemented. We'll do a complete marketing assessment to determine which elements are the right ones for your business based on your situation with what you're currently doing at your location. We'll help with where to start and what sites need to be utilized first. There are actually prerequisites that have to be done first before other steps can be taken, because if this is done in the wrong order, it could bring a detrimental impact to your overall marketing plan. Also, we work on how to build incrementally. If you flood all the sites with all your information at once, Google will see the irregularity and flag your website, not giving it the credit it deserves. If done in the right order over the right period of time, it builds credibility and positions you higher than you could have ever done in the wrong order. We're going to show you how to do this with zero extra work on your part. Look, you're a busy professional. You have enough going on without having to worry about going online for hours, monitoring and updating a bunch of different sites. Your work is better suited serving your customers. That's where your value is. Lastly, we'll set up a plan so you're able to measure your results. This will let you see all the new customers that are coming in and the new contacts that are happening because you are wise enough to implement and utilize the most powerful technology since the TV commercial, and it's available to everyone today. So what's the next step? How do you get all this started? Let's set up a strategy session so we can walk through and dig into your business and look at exactly what the right fit is going to be for you. Let's get started right now.